In larger numbers than not, people are victim to what I call the good guy effect, meaning ingrained in the back of a whole lot of people's subconscious mind is the idea that the state is good and the defense is bad. If Bill Thompson has nothing, why is Ann Taylor filing motions to suppress the evidence pertaining to the DNA, Amazon, AT&T, Google, the apartment, etc.? If there's no evidence linking Bryan to 1122 King Road, just go to trial for a fast acquittal. It's a legitimate question that deserves a fair response. So welcome to the point where everything said here is alleged. Please do your own research, form your own opinion, and let me know that opinion because this is an open discussion channel where we try to be fair. And if more fair coverage on this story and others is something you're lacking, subscribe to this channel and hit that like button down below. Because Bill Thompson has crap or Ann Taylor is scared and trying to delay things. That is what we are all being told depending on the source of news we're getting this information from. Which honestly isn't a fair take either. Let's talk about this motions, why she filed them, and the probability of success, and why Ann Taylor isn't rushing to trial. One side of this debate on Bryan Kohberger's guilt or innocence will tell you this proves the state has plenty to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. Ann Taylor wants this evidence out, and she only wants this evidence out because she knows that her case is absolutely weak and it won't hold up in trial. They'll say that this is another stall tactic and a delay in the trial that's had numerous delays already. While the other side will tell you all this evidence is fruit of the poisonous tree and it needs to be thrown out immediately. The truth is these motions were filed for two primary reasons. Yes, some of this may end up being fruit of the poisonous tree and some of it may not. But we wouldn't know for sure one way or the other unless these motions were filed. That is the first reason. And these hardliner, I don't care guilters need to chill out. I mean, you wouldn't want anyone trampling on your rights as a citizen. So pull out your whittled tissue, wipe your tears and blow your runny nose, and be quiet because defendants have rights in this country and we gotta protect those rights at all costs. Because one of these motions is still relatively new. And to me, the role IGG played within this story is still up in the air a little bit in terms of it being constitutionally correct. And don't say that's ridiculous because at one point in time, wiretapping was being done like it was going out of style. And now we have laws to protect ourselves as citizens. The other reason Ann Taylor is filing this motion is because she needs to build a record in case Bryan Kohberger is found guilty. And I'm sorry to upset the guilters out there, but that's a constitutional right also. Because in a scenario where something squirrely pops up at trial and Bryan Kohberger is found guilty, the defense doesn't have a leg to stand on unless they can prove to the appellate court that they tried to fight this. In fact, the amount of appeals that have fallen through because of a lack of record is crazy high. Which is crazy when you consider appeals have a pretty low probability of success to begin with. But let's talk about the probability of success for these motions. At one point in time, I might have said that they have a leg to stand on. But look at Karen Reed and Richard Allen. Karen Reed is now facing another trial while Richard Allen was found guilty on just hearsay and snake oil. The sad truth is it doesn't take much to get a warrant. It is absolutely scary and it does need to change, while on the flip side it is difficult to suppress evidence. I'm not trying to make the argument that it's impossible and it's not going to happen. The fact is, it is possible. It's just very difficult. It has happened before. But I'm not holding my breath here, sadly. The important thing to remember here, in the event that this trial turns up as shady and weak as Karen Reed's, for example, Ann Taylor has a record. She will absolutely have way more than what she needs to prove to the appellate court that she tried to fight this stuff. Now I have hope that by the end of this trial, most of us can sit there and say, okay, we will all be able to say this is why he wasn't found guilty or this is why he was guilty. But of all the cases that I've talked about before the actual trial started, I believe Sarah Boone's was the only one where as the trial was wrapping up, most of us could say, yeah, she did it. But why isn't Ann Taylor pushing to get to this trial right now if she 100% believes Bryan Kohberger is innocent? It's a legit question a lot of the guilters have asked, and I don't think anybody's fairly and openly answered that question as to why she's not rushing to trial. So the fair and honest answer is this: she's not rushing to trial because she's not stupid. I mean, I hate to put it plainly and I hate to phrase it like that, but that would be absolutely the dumbest thing she could do, regardless of what the evidence says, and here's why. In larger numbers than not, people are victim to what I call the good guy effect. Meaning ingrained in the back of a whole lot of people's subconscious mind is the idea that the state is good and the defense is bad. And to be fair, the state should be good, if the state is a reflection of the community that makes it up. But the reality is the state's biased in court. It's the prosecutor who brought the charges. And he's not going to get up there and say, hey, this guy might not have done it, but charge him anyways. The state's going to throw up every witness possible, credible or not, to validate what they're trying to say happened. And the odds are most people will believe them, especially if the defense can't provide any evidence backing up their side of the story. That's why she's not rushing to trial. I mean, the odds are already stacked against her, which is why it was so important to get this trial moved from Latah to Boise, and it will be equally important during voir dire. I mean, I'm open to being wrong, and if you disagree, you can let me know down below. And while we're on the subject, everybody's saying, why isn't Bryan Kohberger kicking and screaming in jail that he's innocent? And the answer to that one's simple too. Anything that guy says or does can and will be used against him in a court of law. Y'all be safe now.